Is Druid farming finally broken in Bloons TD6? Well, we are about to find out, as Ninja Kiwi has been on a quest to basically buff these Druids out of control. Well, actually, they're not exactly buffing the Druids, they're buffing Oben, but that's pretty much how it goes with that farming method. So in case you guys aren't following the changes, let me walk you through and why I'm saying maybe the Druids might be busted, because what Ninja Kiwi has been doing in the past couple of updates, actually starting from update 47, is they've been trying to make all of these Druids meta again. So starting in update 47, the cash generation bonus given to all of the Druids used to be 0 and they made it 20%, which is a great start. The thing is, 20% didn't exactly cut it as much, so in update 48 they bumped it from 20 to 35%, which was great. And then what's happening in the latest update is they're bumping it up yet again, going from 35 to 50%. So in the span of just a handful of updates, we went from 0 to plus 50% extra cash generation. That is just nuts. So whenever we're doing all these Druid farming videos, because I do tend to kind of, make videos each time something happens to Druids and Druid farming, the conclusion that we always get to is that it's nice, but it's still a mid-game type of a farming method. It never goes into the late game. I mean, you kind of can do it, but it can never mimic, the top at farms in the tier 5s or whatever. So if you guys are noticing something, the start for Druid farming and normal farming is pretty much the same. You still want to be going for these top at farms for the cash flow, and because you unlock the ability at like the tier 4, and it's a pretty expensive ability, by the way, it's like $5,000 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you still want to go for a couple of farms before going for the Druid. So maybe, you know what, this is not exactly the best I guess order of purchase or the location, but trust me, it's gonna make sense in a second. So I'm gonna go for a discount village first. Let's get at least one marketplace, and we're gonna keep all these guys as 200s for now. We're gonna start buying up these Druids. So let's have the first one like this. We're gonna start with 4. Yeah, this is not exactly something that you can just trade out, just buy and save up cash for it. You need a little bit of extra cash flow, and then you go into Druid farming. So bam, there we go, buying the first Jungle's Bounty. The range is insane, by the way. And yeah, we need Oben's level 5 basically, because this is the one that grants the bonus cash generation to Druids. Okay, it's not a good idea to keep the ability for this long, but I want to get to one more farm like this, and now let's use it and see how much this 50% bonus actually is. $2,000, that is a lot of money. So I think in total, like this 041 Druid costs about 7k, and so this is gonna pay itself off in like 3.5 abilities. That's really good, actually. I mean, the farming setup is kind of weird, to be honest, and we're playing elite Lich, so yeah, let's go for, it's round 37. See, I don't exactly have a gauge on how to Druid farm, so I'm not sure if this is like a good idea, but I'm gonna buy one more Druid before the boss appears. The thing that's saving us currently is the cash flow from the farms. So even if you're running Druids, like, you still need a lot of farms. Maybe you don't need to upgrade those farms as much, but you still need those farms to get going. So let's get the elite defender for the tier 1. I guess we want to have it somewhere on the side so the buff doesn't get stolen. Have it like this. Alright, so we're taking a lot of lives. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sell one of these farms. I'm gonna get the elite defender, set it on first, and then we get rid of the soul with it. Okay, so let's get this guy back on strong now. Let's rebuy the farm that we sold, and we actually need to get it started on Druids. Like, we need to buy more Druids. Yeah, the elite defender is doing the thing, and he's obviously gonna win, especially when the Lich soul gets procced and it ticks. So hopefully it ticks now. Yeah, there we go, minus 11 lives. Boom, look at the extra attack speed. Yeah, it's just gonna destroy it. So how many Druids on the field? 2 Druids. Let's use the ability, buy this one, so it's gonna be Druid number 3, and then we can fit one more over here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so one more tick. There we go. We're getting the money, so that's 4 Druid. This is a good start. We're not going to stop at 4, by the way. We want to buy at least a couple more. But there has to be, this limit and this sort of a balance in which you're Druid farming, because if these guys cannot scale into the ultra late game and buy you Paragons, then there is no point in actually investing money into them. So but we're going to do it anyways in this video, by the way. Don't get me wrong. So that was the tier 1. Let's sell the elite defender. We have 21,000. So what can we do? Let me just check the cooldowns with you guys. Okay, so let's use these abilities. It's 3 in total. And actually, you know what? Maybe we sell this farm. Maybe let's place a couple more Druids now with all this cash that we have, and then we're going to fill it up with base farms. There's a lot of space here down bottom, so we're only playing with like the base farms to start things off. But again, we're going to be getting the marketplaces, maybe one here on the side as well. And you guys know what? We should probably wait for all these guys to come on the same cooldown. So that's 9 in total. Let's see how much money we're making now. So boom, that's about 2,000, 2.4, I think I saw some of these guys make. Yeah, so this one is 2.2, this one is 2000 flat. Yeah, all these guys are basically, this guy is 1.4. He's the weakest one, but that's because we went for the top crossbar, right? Yeah, we can up those numbers, I'm pretty sure. Let's use the water space as well. So if I can fill a farm like this, if there's enough space for an ice, which I think I saw, yeah, there we go. What if we place a farm like this and then one over here, and then we do the same thing up top? Okay, so again, all abilities ready. Let's use it. We're starting with 18,000. That's gonna be 39 that we got. I mean, that's good. That's huge, actually, because the tier 2 boss is about to appear, so you're defending it with what, like a mad? Wait, this is actually really good. Wait, hold on for a second. Let me get the Monkey City as well. You guys know what? I'm actually not even gonna spend a single dollar. Let's see if I just keep clicking these abilities, how much money we're actually gonna get up to around 60. Okay, so I think this is gonna be the last ability, so let's just see with the Monkey City exactly how much we're making per Druid. That is, I think it's 3 point something. I was seeing some numbers like 3.3, 3.6 at least. Yeah, I mean, that is really good. With, you know, the problem obviously being that by the time, if you're normally farming, right, you have a Banana Central, you have a couple of BRS by this point, and so the money is being invested there, like we have it here in our bank account, if you can say it like that. And in that case, you would have it in the farms and it would produce cash flow. Basically, that's kind of the difference. So we have 147, click the ability 176. Yeah, so that's about 30,000, it's 29. Yeah, let's round up to $30,000 if we click all of these buttons, which I think 9 Druids is completely fine. Alright, so let me get the mad and then let's buff these Druids even more when we're done with the tier 2 boss. I mean, what else can you do for the... I have one more tower in mind. So here's what's gonna happen. Oben is gonna reach level... What exactly? What was it? Was it level 11? No, it's level 12 actually. It's this one. Reduces the cooldowns of magic monkeys by 5%. That's not a lot, but it helps out with all the Druids. And then we can actually do an Energizer sub up here, which I'm gonna buy. This is gonna be another 20%. Alright, so this is gonna improve the cash generation for sure. Let's dump the abilities again. Let's use the mad ability, by the way. Just get rid of Lich as fast as possible. I mean, this is fine, guys. I'm not exactly seeing that many issues, at least not until this point, not until, you know, the tier 2 boss so far. I don't even think this is meant to beat the top hat farms, for example, just as a comparison, right? So let's go something like this. Let's upgrade every single farm that we have up to the marketplace, and that's it. So we only want to get these guys with the cash flow. Also, I don't exactly want to be collecting bananas. I don't think, you know, 023 marketplaces are going to move the needle too much because they make like $400 per round or something like that. And it's around 66. So let's get this guy up to the Spirit of the Forest. He's going to make a little bit more money than everyone else. It's also going to help with defending, which, as you guys might have been noticing, you know, throughout the entirety of this run, we've not exactly been struggling with defending anything in this run. Like, the Druids basically take care of everything by themselves, and that's just so good. It kind of takes off the burden off of you, and honestly, farming is not even that difficult. Like let's actually just do this. Okay, so we can basically automate this. I completely forgot about the tech bot, but yeah, the way that it works is you use one ability and all of them get used up. So if you hook up the tech bot to, like, oh, that's the wrong button, but if you hook up the tech bot to, let's say, this guy, the Spirit of the Forest, boom, every single one of them gets activated. And this is it. This is how you do Druid farming, I guess. 9 Druids. I think this is a reasonable amount that we currently have. We're around 74. The money's doing fine, like 400k. So as these rounds are going by, I'm noticing a couple of things. First things first, we have a lot of cash for this point in the game, but I still don't think that these Druids are gonna scale into the ultra late game. But I would love to be proven wrong, because that would be so cool. We're gonna have our farming strategy available to us. I still think that this is some sort of a mid into, maybe a little bit more into a late game type of a, you know, farming method now with this 50% extra cash generation that Oben gives them. But let's see what we can make happen versus the tier 3 boss. So let's go for the Boomer Paragon. We actually have a decent amount of cash, so I wouldn't mind, you know, buying kind of a higher degree. I think I just want to hurry it up a little bit because I wanted to see how much money we're gonna make up till the tier 2 boss, and I did not buy anything basically before this guy arrives. So by the Glaive Dominus, I think we're gonna put all the money into this thing because I trust the Druid. See what degree we get. It's gonna be a 45, so 45 is gonna be fine for the tier 3, and I'm pretty sure the tier 4 as well. And so what this means is that every single dollar that we make from these Druids up until the tier 5 boss are going to get spent on the Paragon that's gonna win us the game. Now keep in mind, this is normal Lich, so there are no modifiers because we're playing this, you know, as a custom event. So usually, you know, with these Ninja Kiwi bosses, something tends to happen. It's the boss HP, it's the speed, it's tricky map, so this might not be the ideal scenario. But if we can make it work in a game like this, then maybe, you know, maybe we can make it work in other more difficult scenarios as well. I mean, who knows? Yeah, exactly. So it's round 96, and I think I'm getting kind of a better better sense of how these druids stand in the farming meta. So the cash generation, if you have a setup like this, it doesn't matter if you have the marketplace or not, because they make the same amount of money with base farms, right? But basically a setup like this means that you get a lot of cash for the early and the mid game, which we kind of saw, and we were able to, you know, pretty comfortably buy the mat for the tier 2, or for example this guy is actually degree 45 for the tier 3. But as you're going into these higher paragons, you can kind of see the cash generation starting to fall off, or at least it's not on par with your needs for the tier 4 and tier 5 boss. So I'm not saying that this is not gonna work, it actually might, but the idea is about the same as it was as before. It's very simple actually. Druids are a stepping stone to better farms. So still, you know, the tier 5 farms and, you know, the banana essentials plus the BRFs or whatever you want to buy, that thing is still undefeated. Now, can you use druids as a substitute? Well, we are about to find out, and especially if Ninja wants to help out in an event with, you know, a little bit less ability cooldowns, maybe the boss modifiers are not going to be as difficult. I'm pretty sure this is doable. I'm actually, you know, I still want to see what's going to happen with the tier 5 boss. You know, we have about 800,000, but we're not going to get much more after we sell all of these druids, which is not going to be a case if you're farming with, like, you know, the top pet farms or the bottom pet farms for that matter, right? I mean, even if you're using boats, you sacrifice the boats, you make the boat paragon, and then all the cash generation kind of pays itself off in paragon degrees. So what I'm saying is, until we get the druid paragon, I mean, these guys are making ridiculous amounts of money. Look at this thing, 135. These guys that we bought at the start, 150, 146. How about the Spirit of the Forest? 210 on the Spirit of the Forest, and we're around 119 on the field. Let's turn off all the start. Let's do the final tally on how much money we've exactly made from every single one of these druids. I'm actually going to sell the marketplaces now. Oh, wait a minute, there's going to be like one more ability actually. Okay, so that was the last one probably. There we go. So I rounded up these numbers, but basically the amount that I got was $1.5 million. So fully surrounded, 9 druids and jungles bounties and 1 Spirit of the Forest are gonna make you about $1.5 million. Alright, so let's sell them. Let's buy, because they're not gonna be necessary anymore. Let's buy the latest paragon, the bomb paragon, and see if this is going to defend the tier 5 boss. I mean, this is it. By the way, the boomer paragon does give it like 10% extra attack speed because this guy attacks super slow, so maybe this is gonna be enough. Let's have him on strong. We also want to focusing down the Lich Soul when the time comes. Keep using the ability. Oh, maybe I should actually be saving the ability for the Lich Soul now that I think about it. Oh wait, no, actually the Bomb Blitz ability, each time you leak lives it gets triggered. That's a really good combo now that I think about this. This is not even a bad Paragon versus Lich, although is it gonna trigger again? It's not cool. Oh my god, it's pushing back the Lich Soul. I've never seen that. What? Wait a minute, is that an intended interaction? Because this can be kind of useful, especially if you're dealing with a boss that has a lot of HP on the Lich Soul. What? I don't think that should be happening though. He's pushing back the Lich Soul. That's insane. I think they're gonna do it, guys, and if they do it, then this is just, you know, just a good overall showcase from the druids, I want to say, because we mainly did use the druids, although there were a couple of marketplaces for sure, right? The marketplaces weren't exactly making a lot of money, and I guess the idea is still, you know, the same as it was before. It's just now it's just a lot better, right? Are we gonna see the Bomb Blitz, by the way, one more time? Do we get it? Yes, we do. There we go. Wipe the screen. But yeah, the idea is still the same, guys. You use the druids as a stepping stone. It's just that now they are so much better, and I guess you can even farm up to the tier 4 boss just by using druids, whereas maybe previously it was around the tier 3, maybe, depending on how many druids you get. But in a more realistic scenario, yeah, for sure, I think the druids are completely viable, but you still want to scale into some bigger and better farms. Alright, so that was druid farming, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I will see you all in the next one. Can you actually replace farms with druids if you want to make money in BTD6? And that's the question we're going to try and answer today. We actually did something similar, I want to say it was about a month ago actually, where we booted up an elite boss and we tried to farm as much as possible with these new druids. Now when I say new druids, what I mean by that is that Ninja has been trying to buff the cash generation from the druids in order to make them a little bit more competitive, and the way they're doing that is by buffing Oben actually. So in the last update they introduced this mechanic where Oben's level 5 now not only buffs the range of the Millipede druids, but now also increases the cash generation. It used to be 20%, and now in the latest update got bumped up to 35% extra cash. So the last time we did this, we also did it versus the elite Blunerius, which I guess the boss is not exactly that relevant. We're looking to see how much money we can make, and I guess just like a boss event is the thing where people usually farm the most, but we're gonna do this with a brand new rule for this video. video, and that's gonna be that we're not allowed to upgrade any one of our farms. We're gonna keep every single farm at 0, 0, 0, and we're just gonna be buying druids, and we're gonna see how much money these new druids can make now. Alright, so let's start placing up some of these druids. We're gonna be going for the bottom cross up because we want to get as many farms in the range as possible, so I think this is gonna be like a good starting spot. We're also gonna go for the druid of the jungle, so a little bit of extra defense for sure. And I think now is a good time to place Oben, and I know this is like a really weird spot where Oben is not gonna be able to attack pretty much anything, and this is kind of my beef with this whole buff that Oben gives. So let me actually show you guys. The buff starts at level 5 and it goes like this: increased attack speed, druids of the jungle have increased range, grants bonus cash generation to druids. Now it doesn't say it here, but the buff only affects druids that are in range of Oben. I really wish they would make the buff global so that we have like Oben actually defending and doing stuff and then just farming somewhere on the other side. He's also taking up like this unnecessary space. Yeah, this already doesn't feel really good. So we can buy the jungler's bounty now, but we're gonna have no lead popping power. So let's actually buy an alchemist up top like this, and then we're gonna buy the jungler's bounty, and finally we're gonna get our first. Look at that range though. This is insane. This range is huge. We might actually be able to place some farms here on the sides and get the cash from those guys, but let's actually see how much money we're gonna make from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 farms on the field. So let me just use the ability, and that's $1,310. So one single 203 marketplace makes about $400 per round, and I guess you guys are probably noticing what the problem with this thing is, and that even though the druid makes more money than like one single marketplace, the problem is that this is on a cooldown, and we don't exactly like cooldowns because cooldowns means that you're gonna need to stall some rounds. I'm, by the way, going for another druid. Okay, so let's try it like this. We're gonna have an ability in a second that we know that one single ability does $1,310. So if I place a couple more farms, like let's say I just want to keep the integrity of like this circle, I guess. So I'm gonna have one farm like that, and I'm just gonna keep going around the sides. We place two. I'm actually gonna wait a second. I'm gonna place one more farm, and then we're gonna see how much money it's gonna end up being. All right, so let's use the ability. That's 1,836. All right, that's actually quite decent, I think. All right, let's go for another druid. I think I'm gonna go for the discount village. Let's buy one more of these guys, and then I think I found a spot like this. There we go. So let's go for one more druid, and then we're gonna stop farming. Oh, look at this range. It's absolutely perfect. And after this, we're gonna stop farming. We're gonna start buying some defensive towers. So let's actually do it like this. Let me get the sticky ninja right here. Go like this, get it as a 204, set it on strong, and then we're just gonna hope that these druids are gonna defend the small balloons, which is, I guess, one of the benefits when you're druid farming, right? I mean, the small balloons shouldn't be an issue at all. Alright, there we go. So 4 druids on the field, and I'm actually gonna start buying up a couple of farms now. Let me just try and find a couple of these spots. So there's a spot for one more farm like this. I think one more like, oh, this is a lot of bananas, by the way. I'd be missing out on a bunch of cash. Let's go like this. And then, oh, look at this guy's range on the side, actually. I think I'm going to have a farm over here. All right, there we go. I find one more spot for these druids. So I'm going to buy this guy. And then we have 4 abilities ready. So all these guys just synced up. And look at that. I think I saw this guy make 2.3k per ability. All right, that's actually not too bad, I think. And now the next thing that I'm going for is just I want to sync up all these abilities. So I know that we have, oh, wait a minute. We instantly have like 5 of these guys ready. So let's wait for this one, the 6th one. And then we're going to get a tech bot to trigger all of them together. All right, there we go. So let me just buy the tech bot somewhere here on the side, and let's try and see how much money we're actually making with some of these guys. So there we go. I think I saw 2.3 be the highest value of money that we just made. So we clicked the button, and I think overall this was like closer to like $13-ish thousand per all of these 6 druids per ability, I guess. Let me fill up this bottom portion of the map, by the way, with some extra farms because these guys are in range of these 2 druids here at the bottom. And try 49, and we're gonna get another ability usage. That is, I think I saw $4,000 on this guy, actually. Wait a minute, that's a lot of money. Wait, it was 4.4 or something like that. That's ridiculous. We're already at $35,000, round 49. The setup is kind of weird, honestly. A bunch of 000 farms across the map. And I guess something new that I did was I bought this Monkey City Village, which improved the cash generation of everyone. And there's actually one more thing that we can do to buff up these druids even further, but that was a tier 1 boss, and actually I think we want to do it a little bit sooner, and that is just like an energizer sub. So let me just have the sub like this. We can sell the sticky ninja. I don't think we need it anymore. Now let's just stop for a second and do an evaluation because it's round 54, and generally by this point we usually can pretty easily farm, like let's say a banana central, and we can have it overclocked. That whole thing costs about 100 and let's round up to $150,000. And let's just check the prices on everything we bought so far. So this is about 30k. I think we have about 20-ish farms costing about 1.2k per farm. So that's about 24k right there. We have 90k in the bank. So you know what? I think this is actually not even doing bad in terms of, you know, when you compare with other methods of farming. I'm actually going to keep all the druids up until the end of the game, and we're going to see if we can actually just completely replace a farm. So one of the things I want to do is I want to get the Spirit of the Forest, so I just get this guy going. Now, something that you guys might be noticing as we're entering the tier 2 boss is that we have way too much cash to deal with this thing by this point in the game. These druids are actually crazy in how much money they're making, and you know what, I'm actually gonna fill out the entirety of the map with these druids. I know that they're like the majority of them are not gonna be in range of Oben anyways, and let's actually do something about this boss finally. Yeah, we have way too much money to deal with this boss. I mean, you guys looking at the numbers, 180,000 by around 62. This is insane. I think this also builds up really well with the Spirit of the Forest, and these summons are coming off, I guess, Elite Blunerius, because the vines should be able to take care of everything else. So I'm just gonna speed things up. I'm gonna lock this guy in place. I'm just questioning whether it is worth selling like 2 of these farms and just placing a couple of druids in their range, and I feel like it is, so I'm actually gonna do it. Let's kind of try and fill out the space around Oben first with a bunch of druids. Oh my god, I bought so many druids. I bought like 4. It's gonna be crazy when these guys hit. Actually, I'm upgrading all of them to 041. I'm just gonna check in on the boss in a second, so let's see how Blunerius is doing. Halfway there with the HP. Let's use the ability, not caring about any of these resummons yet, I don't think. And I think this is probably gonna be the last mad ability. This is gonna wipe out the boss. And by the way, I disconnected the tech bot because I wanted to let all of these ability cooldowns come off so that we can synchronize all of them. And this is gonna be the tier 2 boss. We have a lot of money. All the druids abilities are just off cooldown, so let me just sell the mad. We don't need it anymore, and it's time, guys. Let's hook everyone up and let's just kind of see how much money we're making. So we currently have $204,000, and if I hook it up to the ability, 238. So that's about 34k that we just made out of 11 druids, I think, that we have. Alright, I think this is about it, guys. So 20 druids, a bunch of 000 farms, and 1 single tech bot. I'm gonna hook it up, so we have 344,000, and if I hook it up to the Spirit of the Forest, that's 389. So that's about $45,000 that we made, and that's actually not a huge jump because we bought 9 new druids on the right side, and we previously have 11 here on the left side. So what this tells us is a couple of things. Number one, you always want to have all of these druids in range of Oben and I guess like a Monkey City village. We can actually work on that thing. Let's just get rid of one of these farms, which is by Monkey City on the side. But Oben's buff seems to be the most important thing, and please, Ninja Kiwi, just make this buff go global so we can free up some space and actually all of these guys are going to be affected. But so far, these druids are insane. Are you guys taking a look at what is currently happening? We're around 79. We have $800,000. This is the tier 3 boss, and this is absolutely, I want to say, on par with just normal farming with banana farms. With all this money, by the way, you can actually just upgrade every single farm on the field. So we have a banana central, and like all these guys can become BRFs, but I like, is it even necessary at this point? I feel like it's not, and I'm really liking these new druids. They look like they're absolutely insane, guys. Alright, so for the tier 3, let's buy the Nordic Siege Core, put all the money that we have, and yeah, it's gonna be a 28, but again, we don't exactly care about, you know, defeating the boss and everything. We just care about the amount of money that we're making. And the other question is that if the amount of money that we're making is actually going to be enough to sustain you versus elite bosses, and so far the answer seems to be yes, because we're just overflowing with cash at this point. And keep in mind, this setup is not yet fully optimized. There is one more thing that you can do, and that is you can stall rounds into infinity, pretty much, because you just want to keep using these abilities. There's a maximum of, I think, 2 or 3 abilities per round. I don't know the exact number, but so far we're not caring about that thing at all. And if we were to play this thing optimally, I mean, just the possibilities are insane with these druids. So yeah, I'm just super impressed by the amount of money that these guys are making so far. I guess one of the things that I was concerned about with these druids is that, are they gonna follow you nicely into the late game with the amount of money they're generating? Because one of the problems that these druids had before is that they were making kind of, I guess, a nice amount of money, but it was never exactly enough to help you transition and defend these later stages of boss like tier 4 and 5. Ninja Kiwi should definitely do like a boss event where they're gonna do something like this to restrict all the farms to like base farms and just do it on a map that's like super wide so that you can surround open with a bunch of druids so that people can actually see, because I'm not exactly sure that people are using druids to farm. And I guess I can kind of see why people are not exactly using druid farming, because this is a little bit obnoxious. I mean, look at this setup. It doesn't look like anything coherent. Like, it doesn't exactly make that much sense, this setup, but I guess it works and makes a lot of money. So, in case you guys missed it, that was the tier 4 just getting obliterated by the stack Paragon. And for the last one, I wanted to buy the Wizard because this is, well, an underused Paragon. It's kind of on the more expensive side, 750k. And let's actually see if we can make that much money to afford the Wizard Paragon. That's going to be a true test for these druids. So I'm going to see you guys in about 10ish rounds. And we make it on round 119. So 750k, the exact amount of money we need for the Magus Perfectus. This is unfortunately only going to be a degree 1, and that is not what we're looking for. So let's start selling up all these farms. I don't think we're getting to use one more. Actually, we might get to use one more ability, but I actually started selling these farms, so let's just kind of finish this thing. You're not gonna get that much money out of selling the druids, by the way, and like all these base farms, I guess, but it's probably gonna be fun. We're gonna unsubmerge the Energizer sub as well. I guess some of these earlier issues that these druids had are still sort of evident because even though they're making a lot more money than they used to, you're still kind of stuck with about $1 million for 120, and that's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's just that if you were using normal farms, then this could have been in like the multi-millions is what I'm saying. But nevertheless, these druids are really good now, and I think with that being said, this should be more than enough to help us defeat this tier 5 elite Blunerius. I was also looking to use the new Metamorphosis ability. Actually, I'm not sure how to make this thing into a proper video of its own, so I'm just gonna turn off the wizard for a second. The new Metamorphosis ability, by the way, got its cooldown reduced from 120 to 90 seconds, so you can use it a little bit more often versus these bosses. So we're actually gonna try it. Let's see how good this thing is. Are we gonna get to use it like how many, 2 or 3 times versus this boss? That's gonna be cool. And actually, we do get one more Metamorphosis cooldown back. Look at this thing. So you can use it 3 times, it seems like, versus one elite boss. And this is, I want to say 3 times pretty reliably, because elite Blunerius still has like 1.5 HP bar left to go. So definitely very cool. Let's use it for the last time, hopefully, during this run. And I mean, this ability just does way too much damage versus these bosses. And there it is. We actually managed to beat the entire elite boss by only farming using druids. Now that is something that I guess it was possible before, but now it's just so much cooler to do it. And you'll make a lot more cash, and you can actually afford these expensive paragons, it seems like. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Tell me in the comments about your experience with the druid farming, and have you tried it on the latest update, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Alright, so today we're gonna be playing the elite Lich boss battle. Now I wanted to make a video on this because the modifiers in this boss event look kind of interesting. So we have a 200% speed on Lich, and Lich is one of the fastest bosses. I think he's number 2 just behind Vortex, and that 200% speed, I'm pretty sure it applies to the Lich soul, so that should be interesting to see how fast that thing is. But other than that, we have a 60% HP modifier on Lich, so they buffed his speed but they scaled back the HP a little bit, which is kind of expected. And we also have a 60% ability cooldown rate modifier, which I'm going to try and use the most out of it in this run. We're also playing with Solo, which is not the typical boss battle choice, but looking through these modifiers, it looks like Ninja Kiwi wants us to play this boss event in a very specific way. So there's no Benji, and a bunch of the heroes have been banned. Actually, I think about 10 heroes have been banned. But also, if you guys are looking at the primary towers, there's no Dart Paragon and there's no Boomerang Paragon. So what they did is they took away the cheap Paragons, which are very useful for the tier 3 boss. So that's usually how we defend the tier 3 boss, which means that they want us to farm a little bit harder than usual. And so with those 2 Paragons taken out, we only have 4 Paragons left. So it's gonna be between the Ninja, the Ace, the Buccaneer, and the Engie Paragon, and no one really uses the Engie Paragon, to be fair, so I think we're gonna have to beat it using only those 3, given the fact that there's no VTSG as well. They banned the VTSG as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out, but I do have a plan, and the plan is to farm using druids. Now, druid farming is a strategy that you guys have probably not seen in a while, and that's because it was one of the best strategies when bosses came out, and then Ninja Kiwi realized that they've created a monster at that point, and so they had to get rid of it, and they had to nerf it, and kind of try and focus more with the druids druids on their damage dealing ability and not their cash generating as well. So they had to scale back the cooldowns, I believe. I think they also did something with the cash generated per farm. In general, after an update or two, the druid farming was long dead. So now we're gonna try and resurrect it because of that 60% ability cooldown rate. So usually the Jungler's Bounty Druid ability has a 60-second cooldown, but because we have a 60% ability cooldown rate, that means that it's gonna go down to 36 seconds. So it's almost half the time that it needs to recharge, which should be very useful. I think druids are gonna be very interesting to test out in this run. Now, something that you guys might have noticed is that the number of towers is also limited, which means that we're gonna have to buy the Forbidden Tower, which is the Monkeyopolis, just to kind of get the farming going. And that also means that our Paragons are gonna be a lot weaker than usual. So usually you want to spend over 250k and get all of those 100 upgrades for your max Paragons, right? Now I don't think that we can do that with only 2 towers. So we're gonna see how strong the Paragons become, but let's just keep buying these druids and let's just start farming using these druids of the jungle. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna get a tech bot. I think I'm gonna go for 4 druids in total, so it's gonna be only 4 tech bots. I don't want to keep clicking this ability, and I also don't want to lose efficiency because of that, so let's just buy these tech bots and have them ready for later on. So it's round 34, I'm buying the second Jungle's Bounty, and now my question is, do I buy another one? So do I want to greed this out, or do we start getting ready for the tier 1? I think the answer is gonna be that we're gonna greed it out, so I'm gonna get one more, and then we're gonna start thinking about our defense for the tier 1 Lich. I mean, these guys are kind of making money fast, right? It was round 34 that we bought number 2, and now we have money for number 3 at round 37, which kind of makes me think, do I want to do the last one as well? Let's buy the Druid of the Jungle and we're gonna decide in a second. So I'm really debating whether or not I should do it. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna greed out round 38, still buying farming towers round 38. That is not the way to do it, but let's just greed out. Let's just do it this once. Let me just get a farmer just to not have to worry about these farms, they're bananas, and let's start thinking about what we want to do for tier 1. So I see the sniper, so it's likely gonna be something like an elite defender. I'm gonna get a discount village right above the tech bots. Right here, I think it's gonna be fine. So get a discount village, and then I'm gonna get the sniper. Okay, let's get the sniper, but let's keep it as 202. Now, I don't want to upgrade it as 203 or 204 because it's gonna activate the skull, but then we're not gonna be able to pop the Lich soul. So let's just get the money first, and now buy it. There we go. So let's lose some lives, and this thing is just destroying it. Look at that. So the fact that Lich is at 60% HP means that this thing is, it doesn't even stand a chance. Let's just get an Alchemist. The Alchemist is gonna work, by the way, because Lich has a search radius around it for all of these buffs that it's trying to steal, and because Lich is currently so far from our Elite Defender and our Alchemist, it's just not in range to activate it, and it's not in range to steal any of the buffs. Yeah, this 60% cooldown rate completely breaks the druids, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, we have 5 banana research facilities, we have 4 druids in a monkey city, and it's only round 52 and I'm about to buy my 6th one. Usually my gauge for this is whenever farming is normal and there are no farming modifiers. Before the tier 2 boss appears, I usually have this setup that you guys are looking at without the druids. So it's usually 5 BRFs and then maybe a monkey city. Now we even have the druids, which are making a lot of money, and it just goes to show how busted these druids become once you give them a little bit of cooldown reduction. I mean, they do have a 60-second cooldown for a reason, and you're seeing it right here. This amount of money that these guys are making is just going to completely break the entire game. Do I buy one more before the boss appears? What is it, around 57, I think? Let's just mark the spots for the next 3 ones down this vertical line. So it's 4 towers left. Let's buy 2 more, and then we're gonna get ready for the defense. Let's get the village here as well. Okay, so I bought them just to mark their spot. I usually do this. I just buy the base farms on the spots where I'm planning on buying them later on. Now let's get the Mad, why not? The Mad also benefits from the 60% cooldown rate on abilities, so that should be interesting. Let's see how fast this thing is gonna pop. Yeah, this is just gonna melt the boss. And there it is, that was the tier 2. Very, very easy. Let me just take care of this thing first. So I'm gonna buy an overclock. I'm gonna get a tech bot for the overclock, and I'm gonna get another tech bot for the 5th tier farm that I'm gonna buy in a second. So I want to get the Monkeynomics. This Monkeynomics ability is kind of different from the IMF loan. So the IMF loan, the tier 4, whenever you click it, it gives you money, but you have to pay the money back. The tier 5 Monkeynomics, it just straight up gives you money, and that's an ability which is on cooldown, and because we have this 60% cooldown rate, we're gonna make use of that. So I'm gonna buy this thing a little bit earlier in the 60s. One more tower left, so let me get the Wall Street up top, and then we're gonna start thinking about the Monkeyopolis once we've hit the limit. And let's buy the Monkey Wall Street, and that means that round 67, look at the amount of farms that we have. We have all tier 5 farms, we have 3 Monkey City villages, and a bunch of BRFs. I mean, these druids, man, the amount of money that these druids made everything possible. Everything that you see on screen was made possible by the 60% ability cooldown on the druids. I'm not even kidding. So let's unhook this tech bot in a second so it doesn't automatically use the ability on the Banana Central. Now let's wait for a cooldown. We're gonna overclock the Monkey City at the bottom, and let's try and see how many farms do we fit in this Monkeyopolis. It's 7, 35,000. That's nice. I mean, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have bought the Banana Central down there, but it's fine. We are making way too much money. We're way too ahead for this point in the game. So let's hook the tech bot again. Let's hook the NG, the overclock to the, well, it's not an overclock, it's an ultra boost, but let's hook the ultra boost to the Banana Central. Let's get a Monkey City village. In case you guys forgot, I haven't bought it in a while, the Monkey City buff affects the Monkeyopolis as well. And if you remember, there was this bug where it actually didn't affect it, and you needed to buy these two in a specific order, which I don't remember right now. I think it was you had to buy the Monkey City first, and then you buy the Monkeyopolis, and then it worked. And it turned out that it was actually an intended interaction. They wanted it to be able to buff the Monkeyopolis, it was just bugged. And so whenever you're buying a Monkeyopolis, don't forget to get your Monkey City as well. Let's save those 2 monkeys that we have left for the Ninja Paragon. We're gonna need the middle and the bottom path tier 5s to create the degree 1 Ninja Paragon. It's gonna be a degree 1, but it doesn't matter because it's way too strong for the tier 3. And here it comes, tier 3 Lich. We have $800,000 and a bunch of farms. This is way too much money thanks to these druids, but let's just get ready for this one. Let's buy the Ninja Paragon. It's gonna be a degree 1, that's completely fine, and this thing is leaking lives. It doesn't do a lot of damage to it with its normal attacks, but it does a lot of damage with the timed charges, and that creates a problem because these timed charges, they need a while until they explode, and that's why we're losing lives. Okay, so we lost a bunch of lives to that one, so let me just get a couple of support Chinooks just to kind of get the lives back. These guys are again gonna benefit from the 60% cooldown rate. Let's sell Solid to get another farm. Solid is not necessary anymore. We have the Ninja Paragon. I think every single skull ticked at least once, so it's 7 skulls times 15 lives per tick, which is 105. That's over 100 lives lost, and I think that we need to be ready for the next one. Okay, so let's get rid of both of the support Chinooks. We don't need them anymore. We have 582 lives, and tier 4 is about to come out. So I think I'm gonna get... Now, let's get the Navark, actually. I was gonna go for the Ace, but let's get the Navark instead. I haven't bought this Paragon in ages. It's gonna be another degree 1, but these two should be more than enough to beat Lich. And we're facing the same problem, actually. The Soul comes out, and it ticks at least once, and this Soul ticks for 20 lives. Let's watch it. That was 1 tick. Yeah, it's usually just 1 tick, right? Yeah, so it ticks once when it comes out, so it's 7 times 20 this time, it's 140. So I think that the fact that I actually bought these Chinooks and got some lives back might have saved the entire run. But there it is, there's tier 4, 302 Alchemist, that's a nice one. And let's just get ready for the tier 5, I'm gonna see you guys in a second. Okay, round 118, let's start selling all of these farms and let's start just buying the Paragons that we need. I think I mentioned at the start, but we only have 20 monkeys for this one. So they kind of wanted us to have weaker Paragons on purpose and to not farm as much. And I think we got around the farming thing with the Monkeyopolis because the farms that you sacrifice get replenished, but you can't do that with Paragons. So we are just going to straight up have to have weaker Paragons with only 20 towers. It's actually less than 20 because we already have some Paragons on the field. So let's get the Goliath. Let's get the Ace Paragon first. This is gonna be degree 36, that's fine, I'm fine with that. Lich doesn't have a lot of HP, so this should be absolutely fine, especially with the ability, which I believe also benefits from the reduced cooldown. Let's sell the Ninja though, and let's rebuy it. We had a degree 1 Ninja, and we can do a lot better than that. I think we can do at least 20. And last one, let's see how much we get. That is a degree 23 Ninja Paragon. That's nice, that's a respectable one, and a lot better than the last one that we had. And you know what, let's actually buy the NG Paragon. I mean, no one is buying this thing, but let's just buy it because why not? And there it is, NG Paragon, the Master Builder. Let's see which degree we get. Degree 27, it's even higher than the Ninja. Okay, so last preparations for the tier 5, let's get the Super Build. Let's give it some range with the village. Let's buy a 400 village. Let's buy a sniper. Let's get the Glue Storm, and let's just start and see how we do versus this boss. So the Ace ability doesn't go through Lich's immunity, but it goes through Vortex's shield immunity. Let's just keep using the abilities, get the Glue Storm, get the Ace ability going again. We're losing a lot of lives to this Lich Soul. It usually ticks twice, but that's completely fine because of the Chinix that we had. And there it is, tier 5 Lich. That was not a difficult run, I'm gonna be honest, thanks to those Druids that we got. So let's just check the pops on our towers. Let's see, the Buccaneer 10.5 million. We had this thing starting from the tier 4, so it's kind of expected. 5 million on the Ninja, which we bought now. So it kind of did a lot of damage to this boss. 1.8 on the engine, then 12 on the Ace. But that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a fun run and a relatively easy run because of those Druids abilities, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know what the deal is, but they keep buffing the Melee Druids. It's like they want us to Druid farm for some reason, and you know what? I am going to call their thingy, and I'm going to be Druid farming in this video. I think I'm one of the few people that actually do this on a regular basis, the Druid farm, but I really like doing this. I feel like they've been buffing this for like 5 to 6 updates now in a row. If you guys are struggling with farming in general, this is going to be the Elite Vortex. I haven't beaten this thing, so I'm going to do it along with you guys. So if you're struggling, I think that this video might be good for you, just like in general, to pay attention to the mid to early game and how I'm farming, because I will be going very hard on the farming, because this thing, have you guys seen the modifiers in this thing? This thing's speed is at 190%. Can you guys believe this thing? This is Vortex, by the way. So Vortex is the fastest boss balloon in general. So I don't know, this is gonna be a fun one. I had a little bit of trouble with the normal one. Well, not trouble, but it was like very fast. So that kind of tipped me off that, you know what, the Elite is going to be kind of interesting as well. Okay, so let's start with the Druid changes, and let me walk you guys through what I'm doing. So first off, I'm trying to build this square shape in which we're going to have all of our Druids inside. And I really love In the Loop, because this map is a map in which you can actually do this thing. So you can actually build this perfect shape. So let me just place this farm, in which you're going to have 8 farms, and then in the middle you're going to have 4 Druids, and I really love stuff like that. So first off, what are the Druid changes? Well, it's another change to the Melee Druid, in which this thing now gets, let me use the ability by the way, this thing now gets extra pierce for each life that it generates. Now, it generates lives as well. I'm talking about the Jungle's Bounty Druid, that's the 4th tier. So it generates lives each round, and then it gets +1 pierce for every extra life that it generated. And that does not seem like a lot, but when it doubles, it comes out to be 60 pierce in total. And it spawns 2 brambles. Now, if you guys remember, in the previous update, they increased the damage that each bramble does. So basically what you're looking at is 2 updates in which this tower now does double damage and has double pierce. And on top of that, this is only usable on non-chips maps. So you know that these changes are made for non-chips game modes, right? Because you cannot gain lives and you cannot farm in chips mode. So it's really like they're going hard on this Druid farming thingy. And you know what? I'm absolutely going to try that. Okay, so now that we've got our outer ring filled with farms, let's buy the first Jungle's Bounty. And you know what, I'm not a fan of clicking these buttons, so I'm actually going to buy a couple of tech bots and I'm going to hook it up. And this is just not because I'm lazy. Well, I'm a little bit lazy, but this is also for efficiency, guys, because if you miss a little bit of time, that thing is just going to add up throughout the entire game, so you don't want to be doing that. But this guy's going to be a 140, and then all of the rest are going to be with the bottom path. I just need one to just deal with the lead balloons, and that's about it. So these are the ones who are going to get the bottom pad, they're going to get the range, which means that they're going to be making a lot more money, because I'm not sure if this guy gets, I think he doesn't reach this farm here, so at least these guys are going to be reaching everything. So there we go, that's the second Jungle's Bounty. We're going to stop at 4. Well, that's 4 is the maximum that we can fit, but then I'm also going to try hard with the BRF. So I'm going to be buying overclocks and stuff like that, because I did try out the normal one obviously before playing this, and the normal one was a little bit surprising, because I bought like 3 paragons, and all those paragons were like degree 30 and 50 and stuff like that, and that did not go well. Let me just get this up to 300 by the way, so that we can detect camos. We are super far ahead, I think. So how much is one of, it's like 5k one of these guys. I think we're very much ahead with the farming and the amount of money that we usually have. So here's what I'm going to do for the tier 1. We're going to do the sniper. Where do I want to place the sniper? I think I want to have him, you know what, I said I'm going to try hard, and I should probably, nah, okay, let's not try hard from the first one. Let's just do it like this. Let's have it on strong. Oh my god, this guy is, what? This guy's like a Moab. That's way too fast. Nope, that's way too fast. We need some money as soon as possible. I'm gonna need an ability as soon as possible. Nope, okay, that is just gonna be ridiculous. And this is just even tier 1. Okay, but this is good, because some of these camos, wait a minute. Wait, the sub is getting stunned and it's not decamoing. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and leak one of them so that the sniper gets extra attack speed, and then I'm going to buy a camo village next to it. So I'm going to prepare the village. One of them leaks. And I'll do it like this, get him on first, and then micro him to strong, and boom, baby, there we go. I really like stuff like that. That was amazing. But the sub is getting stunned, and we have to be very careful with our guys, with the druids not getting stunned. I think that saved the run, by the way. Okay, more camos, so as soon as something leaks, go back on first, and then go on strong, and that is tier 1. So we had to leak a little bit of balloons to get this guy's passive ability active, but I'm going to sell both of these guys now. And let's get some BRFs going. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mark these spots for farms because I do want to have farms over here. So I'm going to have 2 farms like this. I'm going to buy a village over here. And this is going to be a discount village, which is later going to turn into a Monkey City one. But I should not have bought... I actually shouldn't have bought the second farm. Oh, that's just old habits. But here's the thing that you're supposed to be doing. So after getting a BRF, you're not supposed to be getting your second BRF, but instead you should be getting an overclock NG. And that is because this overclock NG in total costs about $15,000, but it improves the amount of money that these farms generate by 80%. So essentially it's 60% of the cost for 80% of the benefit, and that is just a huge I don't think it's a Ninja Kiwi mistake. I think they kind of know what's happening, but it's one of those efficiency things that you have to be going for if you want to be farming efficiently. So let's get... I bought the third one, so let me buy one more. This is how you do it, guys. This is how you're supposed to be farming. So you buy your BRF, then you buy your overclock, and then you overclock it, and then you buy your RBRF, and that's just the way that... I guess you can keep buying them as much as you want, because honestly, ideally you would want to have everything overclocked, but that's just way too tedious. So let's just stop at like, I don't know, like 4 overclocks. Okay, so it's round 59, and here's what we need to do. We need to start thinking about defending the boss. So I'm going to get, obviously, the Mad, but I'm going to get him in range of this guy, and I'm going to buy the Jungle Drum. So it's going to be like getting a little bit of efficiency from this guy. And let's just get the Mad. And we have to be very careful to not pop the Mad while he's in range of our Druids and our farms, because you're not going to be making any money. And that is absolutely not going to be the case. I mean, I guess you kind of stun these guys, but they're like 2/0/0 farms, so I'm not worried about those. But this guy is super fast. Okay, we need damage as soon as possible. Nope, this thing is not going to work. I need another overclock for sure. So let me place this thing. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. We're only 2 skulls in, and this thing is just moving out. So let me do that. Let me overclock it. I mean, is this even happening? I guess it is. I guess it is, but this is like the tier 2 versus a man. They made this boss way too fast, I'm going to be honest. This is way too fast. I think this is going to be a huge problem for the tier 5, because we're either going to... I think I kind of see the 7 Paragons now, because what they did recently is they made the Paragons get equally stunned. So, okay, let me tell you how it used to be. So, previously Paragons would only get stunned for half the duration from Vortex, but now it's 100%. So, Paragons are not exactly an advantage versus Vortex. Let me upgrade this thing, by the way. Let's sell this thing. Let me get another tech bot for the other overclock that we bought. So let's overclock. Okay, guys, so the entire map is filled with a bunch of 420 farms. I think I can fit... This is the farm, so maybe I can fit one more over here, but that should be about it. Like, this should be... Yeah, this should be the last one. Like, there's nowhere else that I could place a farm. And honestly, I kind of want to keep... I think I placed one here, but I do want to keep this space a little bit open. Maybe I can place a village somewhere down here. Nope, it doesn't look like it. That's fine. So everything is, almost everything, I guess, 90% of these farms are under a Monkey City village. They're producing a lot of cash per round. It's like, what was it, like 200,000, something like that. So we're making a lot of money, but now it's time to defend and actually get serious about this run, because this is the portion of the game where we're going to have to start deciding what Paragons we're using and how we're defending this thing. So here's what I want to do. I'm thinking of getting the Ace Paragon. I think I want to get the Dart Paragon because that's the cheapest one, and it's like the go-to Paragon as usual. And then I do want to be getting something like these stronger Paragons, because we are going to need a lot of damage. So I was thinking of getting the Wizard, actually. So first off, I think I should sell this guy, because maybe we want to have our Paragons in the middle. So maybe sell this guy right here, and then get this spot like this. I need to buy this thing as soon as possible, by the way. And then, do we max out on this guy? So the maximum is like 400,000, but I'm not sure if I want to be putting all of the money, because... You know what? 400k, we could put the 400k towards some other Paragons. So maybe we do something like 200k and then save up a little bit of the cash that we have. I think this is fine. So let's see how much we're gonna get. We're gonna get a degree 45. I think I'm kind of fine with 45, honestly, because the Dart is not the strongest one in general. It's like the starter Paragon. It's like the entry Paragon. This guy's gonna get stunned, by the way. Oh my god, he's getting stunned. This is like the worst spot. I was exactly what I was talking about. And with this new change that the Paragons are now no longer stunned for half the duration, this is just gonna be insane. So we cannot have the Paragons in the middle, it looks like, unless, well, this is happening, but this is not gonna be happening in the rest of the game. I think we kind of got a good spot. in which this guy is not getting stunned, but this is not going to be happening for the rest of the game. Yeah, we have to be very careful with this middle spot and where we're placing our paragons. Okay, so that last boss got me a little bit scared, so I bought 3 more farms. I guess you guys made about 60k so far, but I am, you know what, we have a lot of money, but I'm really scared about what's going to be happening with the tier 5. So let's get on to buying these paragons. So the next one is going to be the ninja. I like the ninja because the majority of its damage comes from its sticky projectile. So this, and that thing's range is global, so you actually don't care where the placement is going to be. Well, you kind of do because you want it to auto attack, but it's like super good versus bosses. So we have about 2.3 million, and I was thinking of putting about $1 million into this thing. What is the degree that this thing is going to get? Like maybe into the 40s would be nice. I think let's just see how. It's 45. That's very good, I think. And I kind of had it here at the back, so it keeps his damage going onto the boss. And let's just watch the sticky projectile. I mean, this is just the new paragons, guys. So all of them seem to be a lot weaker versus bosses. Do I need to buy another paragon? I'm kind of scared looking at this thing. This guy is super fast. We're not doing... oh my god, the Dark Paragon is not doing anything to this guy. I'm so glad I didn't put a lot of money into the Dark Paragon, because you don't get the money back from the sellback value. You just get the base price. And I'm so glad I didn't put a lot of money into it. It's like 130k, but I'm not gonna sell it, but this thing is just so bad versus Vortex. It's insane. That was just the Ninja Paragon. Okay, so we actually have a problem for the last one, because I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm gonna buy the Ace for sure. I wanted to get the Wizard as well, but I think we have to be very strategic with our placement of these Paragons and just see if that's gonna be enough damage. So I will see you guys in a second. Okay, round 119. So after this one is done, we're gonna have the boss, and that's gonna be one more bad actually. So that's going to be round 119 done, and let's start selling. So we made 3.1. Actually, let me just sell all these farms to see about 4.1 million dollars. Okay, so this is gonna be very crucial to how we're defending this. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to get the Ace Paragon probably somewhere in this corner. So first off, can I even max this thing out? The answer is yes. We can actually max this thing out with 3.7 million. We're gonna have a little bit left over, but I'm not gonna do that. That is not a good idea. So let's do it like this. Let's spend about 2.5, which is gonna give us degree what? 41. Let's spend 1.15 million on this thing. So leave about $100,000 just in case. So do it like that. That's gonna be a 400k contribution to the Paragon. What degree is this gonna be though? It's gonna be what? How is this a degree 18? I spent so much money on you. I'm gonna lose. This run is toast. No, is this boss that hard actually? Yeah, we're not beating it. I'm just looking at the speed. We're not beating it. Yeah, this isn't it. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. We farmed for so much and we tried, but this is just not gonna be happening. I'm kind of waiting on the Metamorphosis one actually. So this Wizard isn't doing anything. The Dart isn't doing anything. The Ninja is kind of doing a little bit maybe. Oh, let's just keep moving this thing. I mean, I'm gonna try for sure, but this thing is not looking good. So let's do it like that. Let me use the Metamorphosis ability as soon as the thing comes out. Wait, did I not use the Metamorphosis one? Oh my god, I used the other one. That's totally fine actually. So hopefully the Wizard doesn't get stunned. I guess no, I cannot. It's stunned. Okay, so the Metamorphosis is up, and I have the Ace ability. So I'm gonna use the Ace ability now. Do as much damage as possible. Yeah, this thing is gonna be key. This is gonna be so close. I don't think we're doing it though. I'm still thinking that we're not gonna do it because the boss is gonna go on the left side and is gonna keep stunning up our Paragons. But I really hope I'm wrong. So let's get the Metamorphosis ability. This thing cannot even come off cooldown because the Wizard keeps getting stunned. That's so disgusting. I'm sorry. That's just not okay. Please go back. Please someone pop him. Okay. So now the Metamorphosis. Let me move this thing. Yeah, this isn't happening, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I really wanted to win, but it's just not happening. The Metamorphosis is up. The Ace ability, maybe it's gonna get up. Wait, did my Ace get stunned actually? Oh my god, I actually lost. I can't believe this. Okay, new plan. I'm gonna get the NG Paragon, which is not a sentence that you hear that often, but I do think that those exploding sentries might help a little bit more. So previously I put like I think I put $2 million into this thing. And how expensive is the NG? I hope I have enough money to get a decent degree on it. So I'm gonna spend the same amount of money on this guy. And then as for the, I think I even spent even more than last time. We have 850, so let's spend about 750, I guess, so we can buy all these debuffs. Let's do it like this. And let's buy the, that's degrees. I spent 750, I got a degree 4 NG Paragon. What is happening? I could have put all that money into the Ace Paragon, and I am probably going to get more DPS out of that. So I feel like this might not even work this time. So let me just buy these guys. NG Paragon, is it going to do anything? I feel like I want to do damage through the explosions. So let's use this thing. Let's do that. Let's sell. Yeah, the explosions don't do any damage. That was a very bad idea to buy the NG Paragon. I should have put all the money into the other thing, into the Ace Paragon. I feel like Ace thingy over here. Let's get this thing over here. The glue ability is going to go off by itself. Let me use the Ace ability. Is this looking better or not? I don't think this is looking better, guys. I'm going to be honest. I think this is looking a little bit worse than last time. Let me just kind of have this ability like this. Get the NG. How much damage do you have? You have 600,000 damage. Like, this thing is not doing anything. Let me use the Ace ability. And hopefully that's... I mean, hopefully this is going to be the last one. I can use the explosion. Let me move this thing now. Oh my god, this boss is so fast. He's so fast. He's so fast. Let me go to... I guess Swing Monkey is going to follow it. If we can get one more Ace ability, then it might do it. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good, guys. It's going to be down to one Ace ability. Oh my god, that's so close. Let me have it like this. I clicked it. I clicked it. Please affect it. I see the bombs. Oh my god. It was about to... I actually popped it. That was the most ridiculous pop I've ever had happen to me. Wow, that was such a ridiculous boss run with the most useless Paragon on the planet called the Engineer Paragon, which didn't do anything. But these guys, they carried. I'm gonna be honest. The Dog Monkey did more damage than it. It's a degree 4, let's be honest. I should have put this money into this. And it kind of, you know what? This is a lesson for me. So if you're going hard on a Paragon, you should go all out. Yeah, especially when you do Vortex with 190% boss speed, that's going to be ridiculous. But I'm really happy that I did this because that was a really fun run. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. We farmed a lot. This was some really intense farming. We made easily over $6 million. And it looks like that was barely enough to beat this thing. So hopefully you guys get a little bit luckier. Hopefully you farm more money than me, so that you get better defenses, because this map is not really friendly for Vortex. But that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. So I've got something for you guys that you have not heard of in a very long time. Druid farming. And the reason why I haven't heard about Druid farming in a very long time is because it sucks. Well, I'm not sure if sucks is the correct term, but let's just say that there are a lot better ways in BT6 to make a lot of money without going through the hassle of Druid farming. Now the reason why we're going back to Druid farming is because Ninja Kiwi is trying to make Druid farming come back into, or maybe not come back to the meta, but they're trying to offer it as a farming alternative in BT6, and you can see that in one of the recent changes happening in update 47, where Oben's level 5 now also gives a 20% boost to all jungle's bounty abilities. So what this means is that every single ability used within the range of Oben is going to give 20% more money. Now in the context of Druid farming, I want to mention one more buff that happened in update 42, and it's that they increased the extra range that Oben gives to all of these millipede druids by 20%. It went from 20 to 40%, and this was obviously above target to Druid farming again, so that now your jungle's bounty druids can get more farms into their radius and have, you know, bigger abilities. But when it comes to Druid farming, because they belong in a very special category of like the early to mid game farming, so they're not exactly your marketplaces, but they're not your like banana centrals either. The way that I want to approach this is I want to get a couple of farms first, and then we're gonna start buying up the druids. Now of course, one of the benefits that Druid farming offers is that they're just gonna be cleaning out the small balloons for you, so you don't have to worry about defending. And actually I chose Blunerius as the boss on this one. We're playing a boss challenge, by the way, and I chose the boss to be Blunerius because Blunerius spawns ceramic balloons. These druids are actually going to be really helpful in defeating the tier 1, and then it naturally upgrades to the Spirit of the Forest, which is going to be good for the tier 2 as well. Alright, so I think it's about time. I think I'm going to be done placing farms in a second. The next one is going to go here up top, and the druids are going to be here in the middle. But the first thing that I want to do is actually get a discount village, just so we'd be a little bit efficient in doing this. So I think the discount is going to go like this. I actually tried this in Sandbox. You know, one of the disadvantages with druid farming, and the reason why I guess Ninja Kiwi decided to buff the range that Oben gives to these druids, is that this strategy is not exactly doable on every map in BT6. In fact, the number of maps in which you can do druid farming in BT6 is pretty low actually. And it's round 32, so I'm just going to be spamming these brambles. I'm going to put one more set of brambles down on the track, and we're going to buy our first jungle's bounty actually, which should get all of these guys in range actually, because it's going to get a huge range boost once we buy it. So look at this one, look at this, bang! And I'm going to get the Druidic Reach as well, and it's going to get this farm on the left side as well. That's amazing. Look at this guy's range now. Alright, so druid number 1 is up, and after after this point, again, I'm not sure exactly what is the most efficient way to do it, because if you're buying new farms, you want to go for a 2-0-0 on the farm before buying the next one. But now because we're playing off of this Druid, do you just spam 0-0-0s? Like, I'm not exactly sure, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna keep doing it the old way. So I'm gonna have one more farm like as far to the left as possible, like this. Okay, this one is in range as well. That's the, well, I guess it's not the wrong crosspath because these guys are eventually gonna become 4-0, so let's just get the great reduction, and we have our first ability. Okay, so let's see how much money this thing is gonna make. All right, so use the ability, and that is $1,320. That is $1,320 for 6 farms in this guy's radius. Is this good? I mean, the ability cooldown is like 60 seconds, so I don't know, like 1.3k is about the same amount of money that like a 0-4 farm would make, which is the central market. So now, because this whole setup is actually cheaper than a central market, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? The only downside obviously is that the central market makes money per round, and this guy is on a cooldown, on a 60-second cooldown. So let me just place down a couple more farms and get all of these guys to 2-0-0 as well. Let's see how much this ability is going to bring us. It goes to $1,632. All right, let's place one more Druid like this, go for 0-4-1, and I think, do we want to synchronize all the abilities? Let's just buy all the Druids first, and then we're going to sync up all the abilities with like one tech bot. There's another quality of life change actually that happened, which is that when you trigger one of these abilities, all of them trigger. So you don't need like, let's say 5 or 6 tech bots, you can only do it with one. So the small balloons are getting dealt with, that's for sure, but we need to defend this guy. So how do we want to do this thing? I guess like a sticky ninja to get things going, and then if this is not enough, we can just speed things up by buying something else. So let's go like this. All right, so let's use an ability, and this is going to help us buy the sticky ninja upgrade. This is 1.6k. Let's get the sticky bomb, and then this guy's, his ability is coming off cooldown. So let's see how much this is going to make. Okay, so this gets all of the farms in radius, so it's 1.6k as well. Let's just keep using all these abilities. I'm going to try and get, you know what, let's actually first off get a farm somewhere around here, but make sure we leave some space for some additional Druids. I don't know, where do you stop with these Druids? Like, do you stop at 3 or do you stop at like 8? Not exactly sure. Maybe we can go somewhere in the middle, like kind of 4 to 5. Let's buy one more. So here comes the first ceramic wave. Druids are actually amazing because look at what they do. They're just gonna defend this thing with no issues, and this is just gonna allow us to keep farming, which is amazing. And I guess the biggest problem with these Druid abilities is that if you want to try and maximize the amount of money that you make, because it's on a cooldown, you want to be stalling the rounds, and stalling the rounds is kind of difficult when they actually just spawn vines and insta-pop all the balloons. This is actually, you know, the vines were actually a mechanism to prevent the stalling rounds that was implemented a long time ago, actually. And I guess the only way that you can stall rounds with these Druids is if you stall mob class balloons, but that just becomes annoying and unnecessary at that point, right? How's the boss looking though? 3 skulls left, so not the greatest with the HP. There we go, we get 5 abilities, so let me just buy a tech bot. Yeah, let's just have the tech bot like right here, and then hook the tech bot to like one of these Druids, and then bang, all of them collect. That's amazing. Okay, I'm actually gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy the monkey seed just so we get a little bit of increased production on all these Druids and the farms as well in the radius. Alright, so one more skull left with the boss. I'm actually just gonna sell this master bomber. I'm gonna rebuy it here on the side, not worried about the small balloons at all. This guy's gonna free up space to buy one more. Yeah, it's gonna be about to one more farm here on the side so that we can buff up our Druids a little bit more. Okay, so let's finish up the boss, and then we're gonna go back into farming because I have a couple of ideas. So I want to do a couple of things. So that's gonna be the tier 1 elite Blunerius done. I'm gonna sell the ninja up top as well. Let's go like this. Let's sell this ninja, and then because these guys' range, look at this guy's range, it's huge. We could probably place at least one more farm over here, and then probably one more farm over here, which is also gonna be in range, right? Then for this guy, and actually maybe even this one up top, we can place one more farm like this. And for these guys here on the side, I bought this one, so hopefully they're gonna be able to reach it. All right, let's actually try and pay attention to how much money we're making with these new added farms. It is about 2.7k. I'm noticing that's actually pretty respectable. 2.7k is the equivalent of 2024 farms, and in this number we're factoring in the increases from the Bombat village and the new 20% buff from Obin. So not too shabby, honestly, in comparison to what this thing would have been previously. All right, so 57. We're gonna get one more round of abilities, which is gonna buy us the banana central. So I'm gonna buy it like this. We also want to get an overclock, and then the tier 2 is actually gonna arrive. Yeah, let me get the man. Go for the 150, and then we are looking to get the Spirit of the Forest for about 35,000. We still don't have the money actually, so maybe just kind of chill a little bit. Actually, because we barely don't have the money, we're at 34. I'm gonna use the mad ability just to clean out this first skull, and then we just caught the money for the Spirit of the Forest. So after this, I think I'm gonna lock them, and let me just give it a little bit of extra attack speed. I'm gonna lock the mad in place, honestly, just have it attack the boss like this, and then let's upgrade this guy to a Spirit of the Forest. This should clean out all the summons, and after this, I think think we're just back to upgrading 420 farms, which is the way that you would normally play, you know, the ultra late farming game in BTD6. You just get your banana essential. I'm gonna prioritize these farms which are next to the village. And wait a minute, this is one ability that's not triggering, and it's this one. Wait, so when you buy the Spirit of the Forest, it kind of decouples from these other ones? I don't understand why it does that. Maybe it's on a shorter cooldown, something like that? Alright, so let's unhook the tech bot, and then we're gonna hook it to the Spirit of the Forest, which is hopefully gonna trigger all the rest of the abilities. Alright, so let's lock the man in place like here. This is gonna be the last skull, and then I'm just gonna use the mad ability just so we erase the tier 2 boss as fast as possible. And then we're back to farming, so we're gonna be selling the mad. And let's just hook up the tech bot to the Spirit of the Forest. And I think, yeah, it's about time. Let me actually be just a tiny bit more efficient because we're gonna be selling all the farms anyway. So let me get the favorite chase boat. Let's sell this guy. Alright, so just take a look at what we have on the screen, and let's just kind of try and compare it to a normal farming boss run. So currently we have the wild sheet, we have the banana essential, a monkey city village, a couple of druids with the Spirit of the Forest, which is by itself, by the way, a decently expensive upgrade, so don't ignore that one. And we're just buying all these 420 farms, and I guess the question is, would you be able to accomplish this with the other farming methods? And I think the answer is yes. It's also going to be a little bit less easier and likely a little bit less complicated because you cannot do this farming setup on all of the maps in BTD6, but this was actually kind of fun. And my takeaway from this like mid-game or druid farming so far is that while druid farming might not be the best, it is a viable alternative, and that is what matters to me the most. I think Ninja Kiwi should actually make a boss in which they force us to druid farm so that we can actually see it in a weekly boss event and not just like this. But I think druid farming is ready to go mainstream with all of these recent buffs. So yeah, I'm happy with the way that druid farming is going so far for sure. And it's round 79, and the tier 3 boss is, well, he's on the screen. So let's actually do a checkup on how much money the druids have made, because past this point it's unlikely that we're going to be relying on druid income to maintain our farming. So let's just see 87k onto the Spirit of the Forest, and then all these other guys like 69, 71, 72. Alright, so we're easily looking at the over $350,000 mark being made by round 80, which is honestly respectable, not too bad. The main role that these guys are playing is just helping us, you know, get to like these better and more late game type of farming methods like the banana essential or whatever it's gonna be. So I think in that regard, you know, these druids, they've absolutely did their job pretty well. So yeah, I mean, past this point, druids are actually not even gonna be that useful. So if you want to sell them, that's probably not like even gonna be a bad idea, just to free up a little bit of space. A little bit of an aspect that we should have in mind with these druids is that they actually helped in defending not only, you know, these small rounds, but the bosses as well. There's a great synergy with the druids and Oben, which gives them camo detection. They can pop every type of bloon, and that's pretty much what druid farming is supposed to be doing, right? It's supposed to be just like helping out a little bit until you can get all of your better farming towers and just the actual farms. And I don't think that anyone is gonna be relying on like druid farming in an entire game, you know, up until the end of the game, because this is just like not the way to do it. Alright, so these druids' time has expired at this point, but you guys probably want to see me defeat the tier 4 and tier 5 bosses just for completion's sake. So let me show you how I'm gonna do that. So for the tier 4, here's what I was thinking. I wanted to get the Glaive Dominus. I bought a bunch of these sacrificial boomers on the side. I'm gonna put the max amount of money possible, and this is gonna be in the 60s for sure, I think. Yeah, there we go. That's a 61, and with the help of the 59 dart that we bought for the previous one, yeah, these guys should absolutely melt the boss in a second. I guess we can get something like an ice tower just to amplify all these guys. I can't see anything actually. Let's not buy the ice right now. But yeah, these guys just eating through the boss. I love buying the boomerang actually versus Blunerius specifically because it summons so many bloons, and these projectiles that it launches are homing projectiles, so they kind of seek out all these bloons and you don't have to worry about the small ones. Now that is gonna be the tier 4 Blunerius just getting destroyed, just getting eaten up by both of our primary paragons. And then do we do like one more primary paragon? Do we do like the tag for the last? Is that gonna be enough for the tier 5? I don't know. Let's see how the tag is gonna do. I'm gonna get all 3 primary paragons that we currently have in BT6, but before that, let's sell all of our farms and let's see how much money the druids have made in total. Alright, so 123, 124, 128 on this guy, 131 on this guy, and then look at the Spirit of the Forest, 200k made. That's crazy. Alright, so I think it's time. Let's buy the tag paragon. Let's put all the money into it. We have about 1.6 million left. If necessary, that's gonna be degree 61, and let me finally buy this ice tower that I wanted to buy previously. So go like this, get the bottom cross up because we have a lot of attack speed, and let's just only use primary towers, I guess, in defeating the tier 5 elite Blunerius. This should be more than enough. I'm gonna hook up actually the tech bot to the tag paragon. This is gonna be using the abilities on its own. Yeah, so the primary paragons are doing it, and did the druids do it, guys? What do you think? Is druid farming finally back? Can we actually have this as a reliable way of just going through the early and the mid farming game just so we can finally get skip to like the Banana Central and the other farms. What do you guys think? If you guys tried the Druid farming, I would love to hear how you guys feel about this Druid farming in general. And yeah, that is gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Today we're gonna try out Druid farming. So this is something that I actually tried out recently. I want to give it one more shot because it was kind of interesting last time. And well, the main reason why I want to do it is because these guys actually got a, let me just use the ability, they got a small buff in the latest update, so they are a little bit better at farming. And honestly, I feel like Another Brick is just the map if you want to do this, just because, well, what you can do here with these farms is, I'm starting here on the right side, you can place 3 farms on top, and then you can go towards the left side, and you can create this little rectangle in which you can fit, I think that we could do 8 druids in total. So yeah, that should be pretty interesting actually. So when you have 8 druids, all of them going to work, I think it's also gonna work well versus the spawns that Blunerius has. And I think that this is overall a good challenge, just because this is going to be, well, it's on Another Brick, and Another Brick is an intermediate, no, it's actually even an advanced map, it's not even an intermediate map. What am I talking about? So it should be an interesting run. There's also paragon limits. Instead of 4 we have 3 paragons, so we have to kind of start thinking about what we want to defend with, and how this whole run is gonna go. So as you guys can see, you know, this Dark Monkey isn't even defending by itself, so we're going to need to give it a little bit of a helping hand. Okay, so you know what, let me just do this. Let's do something like attack here, just to kind of stop a little bit of these leaks, and then we are probably going to have to start buying and upgrading a druid as soon as possible, honestly. So let me just get this thing to like 200, and after getting this second farm to 200, I'm just gonna start working on the druids probably. Oh my god, that's 2 lives left. No, we have to defend. Okay, this is all on the tag zone. Like, this thing needs to defend and pop everything, or we're toast. Oh, that was a panic Dark Monkey, but I think I had to do it. Okay, so the mana shield activated. We have 7 lives to get $1,050. So hopefully we get it now. Yes, there it is. I think we stabilized, guys. It's 2 lives, but I think this is gonna be fine. Okay, so back to farming. Yeah, so let Blue's incoming, and here's what I want to do. Let's first off upgrade this thing and give it the extra range. I could have gotten the let me just buy this. I could have gotten the top pad, but I feel like the range is more important because it's gonna allow it to reach even more farms. And that's kind of the thing that we're looking for. I think that just spending a little bit more money on the sniper is a lot better than just sacrificing the extra range for this guy. So let me start actually placing these tech bots. I should have him. I should probably have him here on the top side. I want to buy 8 druids, but let's buy them slowly because I don't want to be clicking these abilities. So let's just automate everything. It's gonna make a lot of money, and that's, I guess, it's a little bit of the tedious part of the process as well, because, well, you don't want to be spending that much money on tech bots as well, because these guys actually cost monkey money. So there's that. So let's get this guy. This is gonna be druid number 2. So we have 1 already hooked, and honestly we're looking to stall the rounds, but I'm not actually gonna be doing that. I mean, it's ideal if you stall the round so these abilities can come off cooldown, but I'm not actually gonna try and do that. That's gonna delay the game way too much. So let's just play it like this, get the second druid. So we have 2, it's round 34. I'm probably gonna get 1 more, honestly, and then we should probably stop with the druids and we should start thinking about defending. So these guys are all 0-3. Yeah, it's everyone's 0-4-1. Well, this guy's gonna become 0-4-1 in a second, and let's just see how much money it made. So it made 1.1k, and the other guy, yeah, the other guy made 1.1k as well. So that means that it's a lot of farms in range. So let's upgrade this one. That's gonna be druid number 3. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the Blade Maelstrom. And then after getting the Blade Maelstrom, I think I should probably get an Alchemist, honestly, for this guy. But let's get, oh my god, why am I making so much money? Is this the druids? I did not expect this much money. Like, I was a little bit scared. Okay, so let me upgrade that thing. There's a sticky. So this is basically the idea that I have for this one, is going to be the sticky, and then we're going to use the abilities, and I'm actually going to do this. So this is just like going to be a 3/0/0 Alchemist to buff everything up, and hopefully this is going to be enough. Oh my god, so many skulls. I completely forgot how to leave Blunerius because we were playing phase for so long. How many skulls did phase have? Actually, like 3, somewhere between 3 and 5 on the elite phase, and I kind of forgot that the Blunerius has like 1 million of them. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7 skulls that this guy has. Okay. So here come the blues, and oh my god, the druids just took care of everything. What? Wait a minute, is this an actual strategy versus Blunerius? Because I only have, well, I had 3, now I have 4. Wait a minute, did these guys take care of all the spawns? Oh my god, this is an actual strategy versus Blunerius. I can't believe this thing. So these guys, starting from the recent update, they farm a little bit better, but their vines now do 2 damage instead of 1, and I feel like that extra +1 damage is basically just destroying everything that Blunerius is sending. Okay, so I should probably switch one of these guys to first, actually, because the way the vines are targeted is by the druids targeting. So so if basically the druids is set on first, is going to target the vines, are going to target the first balloons as well, and we kind of need a little bit of cleanup. And oh my god, that's so much better. Yes, this is okay. So let me place the farms first, actually, and then I'm going to place the druids. So like this, and this, and hopefully we can fit 2 more druids. So like that, and yes, perfect. Okay, so all of these druids are maxed out, so all of them are 0-4-1. Some of them are set on first, some of them are strong, just to kind of deal with the residuals. But oh my god, we're not doing any damage. I just realized I was upgrading these druids and I just realized we're not doing any damage to the boss, and we haven't been doing that for like a while. So let's just do this. Get like a dodge just to deal with these small camo balloons. But these druids are absolutely amazing versus Blunerius. I'm gonna keep the Blade Maelstrom just because I'm a little scared of what's gonna happen. But I shouldn't be. Oh my god, they just destroyed the entire wave in like seconds. We're gonna have one more skull. Let's see how they do. So it's gonna pop now. It's a very short track left, and yeah, these druids, they don't care. These druids are so good. Oh my god, that's so good versus Elite Blunerius. So I guess we're gonna keep all these guys. I should probably sell the ninja. I'm gonna get this guy to the sharpshooter to that, and I'm gonna give it like a 3/0 alchemist. So the thing that these guys are lacking is a little bit of Moab class damage, and we should also start upgrading to BRFs. So a way to gauge on how good we're doing on farming is usually I take a look at how many BRFs I have before the tier 2 comes out, and usually like having 5, 6, 7, that means that you're on a good track. Now we have, well, we've got 6 BRFs, but the thing is we also have like a million druids that are also making money. So I feel like we're doing a lot better than we would normally. So I'm really happy about how we're doing with farming in general, but the thing is this is kind of a shorter map, so we have to start thinking about the boss. So first off, I want to have the Glaive Lord actually, because, well, if we get the mat and we don't have the Glaive Lord, then that's a little bit of an issue. So let's sell both of these guys, get a little bit of cash going, and wait, is this even gonna be in time? What is happening? Maybe I should not have bought at least one of the farms. Maybe like 1 BRF, I should have left it at like 6, maybe. That's fine. I think we're gonna be fine actually. So let's just buy the mat, do as much damage as possible now. And then, so we're gonna have it now, so let's lock it in place like here. Let's use the ability, and you know what, I'm probably gonna give it a little bit of attack speed, because why not? And then let's start doing some other things. So let me first off get this thing. I'm gonna get an overclock. So let's get the overclock, and let's start overclocking our mat. Let's use the ability, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy a favorite trade's boat, so that I can get extra sell back on the mat. Yeah, we're gonna have to move this thing. This is basically the map problem now though. So let's sell the mat, which is not going to do anything, and let's rebuy it. I guess over here we can rebuy it like somewhere over here. Get it like this, get the mat again, let's lock it in place, let's overclock the mat, and let's give it a little bit of attack speed. I should probably give it the Nenji, because why not? So let's have like a 3/0 NG, and let's use the ability now. And I think this should be fine, honestly. I think, well, we're kind of late on defending it, but I think we're going to be fine in general. So let's kind of micro to get rid of these spawns. This is actually a tight Blunerius, I'm gonna be honest. Like I expected it to be a little bit closer, but not this close, honestly. So this is looking like a fun event. I mean, we're gonna have to see what happens on the other tiers, but this looks like it's gonna be super fun. It's kind of close, but we take it down. Okay, so let's sell the mats, sell basically everything around it, I think. And let's do this. Let's get the Banana Essential, and I think it's time to move on from Druid farming. So do I want to buy the Monkeyopolis? Probably not. So let's use this overclock on this thing, on the Banana Central, and let's start. What am I doing? Do I want to keep these druids up until around 80, or do we switch to BRFs? I think I'm going to keep them, honestly. So let's buy as many BRFs as possible and maybe get some other 5th tiers farms, and then we're going to see what happens. So do it like this. I'm going to buy a couple of BRFs. Okay, so all of this space is filled, and I feel like we have to get rid of these druids, guys. We can make a lot more money if we just sell them. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to sell the druids. Well, first off, I want to take bot this NG, which is going to go into the Banana Essentials. Here's what I want to do. I want to do this. First off, can I fit a farm? I think I should. Yeah, there we go. So we can fit a farm. This is going to be a 4-2-0, and then here in the middle, I want to do 2 things. First off, I want to get this thing so that everyone in range makes a lot more money. And second, hopefully I can... Yeah, there we go. So we left a little bit of space for this guy, for the banana farmer. And there it is. So we don't have to worry about collecting all of these guys. And then we have the Wall Street collecting from everyone else. Okay, so that should be nice. So we need more space. So if you guys don't know, you can remove the bricks on the side, and you can free up a lot of space. So let's do that, and let's start placing a little bit more farms. Okay guys, it's time to think about defending. So I bought a couple more farms here on the left side, and it's time to start thinking about what we want to do. So I'm gonna buy the Dark Paragon, and I'm gonna take a risk on it, but then we're gonna have to see how we want to defend the bottom side. So I actually don't even have an idea on how I want to do that. So hopefully the Dark Paragon kind of takes care of everything, because well, if things are leaking at the bottom, I guess I'm gonna keep the Glaive Lord just because it's already there. But hopefully this is enough for us to defend. So I'm gonna start saving up some money now, and then hopefully we have enough money for the tier 3. Okay, so I think this is looking good for the Dark Paragon. I mean, I'm gonna buy it, but let me just show you guys what I think is gonna be happening. So we're gonna have the money in a second. So let's buy it now. Actually, you know what? I'm even gonna do this. I'm gonna give it the super bill. So just buy this thing, and yeah, so that's kind of the problem. You can buy a super bill, and I think this is exactly the problem. So these leftovers, if they make it past these balls, they don't just bounce here on the bottom side, we have a huge problem. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start getting ready for the Dark Paragon on the bottom side actually. So maybe, is there like a small spot? Yeah, there is. So let me just buy one of these guys, like the crossbow. And if this isn't enough, I mean, if this guy doesn't defend, he's like degree 31, but if he doesn't defend this thing, I really need these guys to keep bouncing back towards the bottom side. I mean, it's already there. We might even have this thing. Honestly. Yeah, so there goes the boss. And how are we doing versus this thing? It's going to be a bad versus a crossbow master and a boomer. They're going to take it down? What do you guys think? I'm going to buff them just in case. I'm not sure if they're going to take him down. Let's just do this. And yeah, there we go. Okay, nice. So we defended. That's amazing. So we can keep the Dark Paragon, I guess. This is an amazing tower versus all of the bosses. Maybe we can even try and make it stronger, but nah, let's just keep it as degree 31, and let's just keep farming. So I guess the thing with this map is in general that because there's this huge wall in the middle, what we want to do is we want to buy these global paragons. So I'm thinking the Ace Paragon for sure. And then maybe something else. The VTSG can actually see over the wall, so that's maybe one of the towers that we want to buy. So I guess the Ace Paragon and the VTSG are the ones that we're working towards. Okay guys, so just finishing up these boomerangs, I think this is the last one that I have. And what I decided on doing is I'm actually going to get the boomerang paragon here at the bottom. So let's just wait for the boss to appear. I actually filled up this spot on the left with a little bit more farms. So let's do this thing. I want to get the Glaive Dominance just because this is going to give like a 10% buff. It's gonna fix the bottom side, right? So these spawns, basically these mobs are going to get taken care of. And it's also going to give a little bit of a buff to the Dark Paragon. So the Dark Paragon is going to be, I guess, the main one that's going to be doing most of the damage, but the Boomer is going to help with the cleanup and maybe do a little bit on its own. So I also want to do this thing actually. So let's have this guy on strong, and hopefully this is going to be enough. I want to give them as much help as possible, especially for this Dark Paragon, because if the boss comes towards the bottom side, I'm not even sure if the Boomer is going to be able to fully take care of it by itself. So hopefully this Dark Paragon does the majority of the work, I guess. Let me move the Super Barrel actually. So I bought this thing here, so let me just upgrade this thing to a Super Barrel. We have the Sniper. What are we missing? We're missing the glue, but I don't think we're going to need it. So look at this thing. That's so interesting. So the tier 3 and the tier 4, they popped at the same spot basically, and the only difference is that we've got what? We've got this thing, and we buffed the Dark Paragon by 10% by giving it more attack speed. That's really interesting, but they popped at basically the same spot. So there goes the tier 4, and for the last one, we're gonna need a lot more damage because this thing usually has 40 million HP, and I don't think there are any modifiers. So I'm gonna see you guys in a second with the VTSG and the Ace Paragon. Okay, so let's buy the Ace Paragon first, and this is gonna be degree 34, I think it was. Yeah, that's fine. It's not too much, but it's gonna be fine. Let's set the point at which we're going to use the ability. And let's set it to Wing Monkey. I think it's just the VTSG left over. And here it is, the VTSG. So let's upgrade it. Let's give it the range upgrades, and let's give it, the usual buffs. So let's give it the Perma-Brew. Let's get the Homeland Defense Village. What else are we getting? We got the debuffs. I think we're actually fine. I mean, I could buy a support temple, but I don't think we need it. I think we're basically fine. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna get this thing like an Ultra Boost, and we can hook the Ultra Boost to one of the deck bonds that we had. I'm also gonna hook it to the this thing, to the Homeland. And yeah, this should be more than enough, guys. It's 40 million HP. Let's see how we're gonna do. So let's get the Ultra Boost onto the VTSG. These abilities are gonna go off by themselves. You don't see them because I have FX turned down, but you should be able to see at least Blunerius' HP go down super fast. This is really a short map, and you can kind of tell where Blunerius is and how much damage we're doing. I mean, it's definitely gonna make it over the bend, but how far is it gonna make it? I don't know. I hope it doesn't make it too far. So the Dark Paragon is like a huge portion of the damage. I guess the VTSG is doing well. Actually, is it even that close? So like the dart is gonna stop attacking in a second, and we're gonna see how much damage we're actually doing without it. So let me check its range. Yeah, so it's about to exit its range in a second. Yeah, so the Dart Paragon is no longer attacking. And let's see how much damage we actually have without the Dart Paragon. And the Boomer is not attacking either, so it's just the VTSG at this point. Let's move the ability for one last time, I feel like. I have it there. And this should, yeah, that triggered the last skull. And basically, it's all on the Boomer and the VTSG and the Ace. The Ace isn't doing too bad, but it's not like a super high degree. So this boss actually made it a little bit further. It's a lot of damage that we're doing to it, but it's like 40 million HP, guys. This is Blunerius. It's not a joke. This is the boss blue with the most HP. So, but there it goes. We actually defeated it, and it was all powered by Druid farming, which was actually a little bit surprising, given how it dealt with the tier 1 Blunerius. That actually surprised me how good they are. It was only like 3 Druids, and they took care of all the spawns. So it is actually a legitimate strategy versus Elite Blunerius, and it makes a lot of money. So that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a really fun video trying out Druid farming, and I hope you guys give it a shot as well in your own games. But that's it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.